it is the one thing that has kept this country together. Believe me. The moment you talk of no constitution or another constitution, etc., everything will unnecessarily splinter, which is not a good thing for a nation like India. You must realize you must get into the history of this basic structure doctrine, because for years together the Supreme Court somehow didn't find any part of the Constitution which was immutable, that is unamendable. Because the Constitution itself says that every article can be amended. And ultimately, they came upon this solution, namely that each and every article can be amended, but not the pillars of the Constitution. I mean, that is the basic structure. So the pillars must not collapse. Now, what are the pillars? Which are the pillars? Is a matter always of some doubt, difficulty, interpretation, and you must leave it to the final court to determine it. You will never be able to get a constitution drafted in our country, because please remember, the constitution was drafted at a time when there were only 350 million people in the country, and today we have 4 times that number. So it's an impossible sort of task. And the better thing is to think of how to make this country one. The unity of the country is a very important thing, more than all this disparity and all the fissiparous tendencies that are going on between different political parties. We are at least fortunate that first that the Constitution got written and it got enacted, because that itself was a great trauma. It almost never did because of the language problem, because they couldn't decide on what is the national language. So they avoided having a national language and instead said we'll have 2 official languages, Hindi and English. And that's how it has jogged along for 75 odd years. And I definitely think there's no point in blaming the Supreme Court. It's had its ups and downs. There have been very good judges, there have been judges which are not so very good, etc. But that is in all walks of life. But that doesn't affect the structure of the Constitution. The structure has to remain. Section 123A, which defines sedition as meaning that every citizen should have affection for his government. If you have a democracy with a government and an opposition, how can you have affection for the government which you are opposing? That's one of the most controversial things that have happened. And unfortunately, the judgment of the Supreme Court of 1965 has upheld that principle. And that's what the Supreme Court is now going to consider. And I hopefully do something about it, about that section. Yeah, we have to nurture it. No, you have to be optimistic. You have to be optimistic. Yeah, there's no escape from that.